backdrop for it. You just need to fix the eyes.
No, the eyes make it work.
Please don't.
Is that you cannot see half of my face.
You can just
That
get
is
Matthew to
very-
edit and lens flare you. Then it'd be perfect.
Every second it's lens flared.
That. And it's just lens flare eyes.
As we welcome you all back to Twisted Fates, as my boys are all in different locations, well, apart from Craig, but that's because we've been here for a year and, well, nearly 2 years now. But my other three are back to uni, back to accommodation. Paul's got his own flat though, which is kind of nice.
Hell yeah.
But in saying
balling
that,
out here.
if you see any random folk in the back of Paul's video, they're not supposed to be there. They're just pissing him
They're
off.
just my flatmates who hate me.
No, you should have just ended it as they're not supposed to be there to leave it completely ambiguous as to who is appearing.
Yeah, it's just random folk getting into your flat and just so happens to come into your study.
They're respectful enough not to interrupt the recording to rob you.
And if
My
you
inner
see,
sanctorum.
and if you see someone behind me in the footage of my video, that's impressive or supernatural.
Either way, badass.
If you see someone in the back of Ewan's video, keep that shit to yourself because he won't be able to sleep.
This is the only person that should be in the background of this video.
I'm jealous.
Yo, who was that?
It's the little
I-
dinosaur.
It's the dinosaur I bought from IKEA.
I've been waiting to see this dinosaur on camera for so long.
He will make occasional appearances, as will the inevitable posters of random shit I put up.
Yeah. Every week, Ewan's room will likely change that little bit more as he gets more and more comfortable.
Yes.
Though,
I arrived yesterday.
getting into the recap for what happened last time, as you guys had finished your trials, you had defeated the spirit of Maktor and returned to the encampment to a not so warm welcome, as despite going through your trials and tribulations, the elders were still very reluctant to give you any trust. Two of them, the one who had sent you to the trials, this more shamanistic one, she seemed to warm, accepting the judgment of Maktor, and the more priestly or druidic one was also a lot more kinder towards you. The other three, however, two in particular, the more muscular elder and, well, the hooded elder, were very adamant that even though that you had passed the trials, you were not to be trusted, even suggesting as far as trying to prove your innocence a step further by taking Ranaagash and attempting to induce another one of his visions to see the truth. Bartak wasn't happy about that at all. Now being chief, he has some say in what's going on, and he doesn't want his best mate going through that again, at least not on his watch. And he essentially told the four of you to get out of the tent. Well, I say four of you, three of you, as one of you did not pass the trial, and therefore didn't have the trust of the elders.
Who could that be?
I know,
I have
strange.
no idea.
So it was only three of you, as Marcusar had already been cast out of the tent prior. But the four of you were kind of left on your own, heading to the hunter's tents, as Bartak essentially stayed behind to speak to the elders and speak to a elder, this centralized elder known as Vunzak, by himself. Where the four of you kind of made the hunter's tents your home, settled down for the afternoon and into the evening, where Wolfric made some dinner and Marcusar wandered off into the forest, hoping to pray and contact She to find some form of guidance, and ended up trailing further than expected to a stone circle in Myrr. It's not too dissimilar to that in Summerhost, but one that was a lot more unkempt and overgrown, where she was able to communicate with him. She was, I guess, less than helpful to his wisdom or his questions, telling him instead that his perspective of who she is or what she is aren't entirely true, as she never intended to be a deity or a goddess. She does not bring life or control life. She instead helps people maintain the cycle, like the Orcs of Myrr, who do not worship her but respect her enough to maintain her forest that she had gifted them. They use the gifts she gave them to better themselves, hunting the animals she gifted, using the wood she provides to make their lives better. Something that for Marcusar was a very alien concept, as this was not what he was taught, and this is not how Summerhost operated. As for the druids of Summerhost, cutting down the trees, hunting the animals, using the forest was besmirching the gifts of she, was abusing them. And yet here she was telling him that, well, maybe that's not the case. As why would she give something if it was never to be used? Why would she offer her help if no one was ever going to take it? So he was kind of put on, I guess, a bit of another religious questioning moment.
Haven't had too many of those.
I know, eh? It's just like your plotline is about questioning your own faith and your own morality.
Yeah.
As she kind of ended with the wisdom of, instead of putting his faith in her, he should start putting his faith in other people, more tangible people that can actually help him on his quest, rather than a voice on the wind. Where she disappeared and Eidolon appeared.
Didn't appear, I was there the whole time.
You were there the whole time, but not so much for Marcusar, as he was a little bit more, focused on the giant foliage deer. As the two of you had a conversation, Marcusar retelling, I guess, what the deer's side of the story was, as Eidolon could only hear Marcusar's side of the conversation. And the two of you returned to camp, where, questioning his faith and his lifestyle, Marcusar tried cheese.
Not just any cheese.
It was a grilled cheese.
Made by Wulfric.
It was a pretty good grilled cheese that made Marcusar feel rather queasy, but yeah, it was a very strange, like, half an hour before the break for making and eating grilled cheese. Where the end of the session came quite hard and fast after that, where Ranaagash and Eidolon snuck off in the night to continue Ranaagash's vision training, going to check on Bartak, and he had been relatively silent for the rest of the evening as he had joined the party. They found out that the elders were going to offer no help, as he could not prove that the forest would be attacked or when it would be attacked, and they would not help as long as the four of you were assisting. Bartak very much called bullshit to that, and gave you the suggestion of going to find the hunters, the other orcs who had left camp, bring them back to camp so that they'd have a better fighting force, as well as waking up early that next morning to go and talk to Dalarash, the more shamanistic orc who had given you the runes to pass into the shrine, and Shotha, the more priestly orc who would likely be at the healer's tent, who had a fondness for Ranaagash, so might be persuaded to give her assistance. That was agreed upon just before the two of you left the camp and did some vision training, where Ranaagash got a glimpse into another world, this two-sided, divided world, it seems, one in tandem with life, almost utopia style, and the other abusing it to a sense of industry. But that wasn't the more interesting vision now, was it, Matthew? As Eidolon got curious and wanted to know a bit more about Marcusar, specifically Marcusar's dad. And Ranaagash placed himself in one of Marcusar's memories, pulling the vision out of Marcusar's mind, putting himself in Marcusar's place, and somehow pulling that vision into reality, leaving Marcusar's father, who has been dead for 4 months, unconscious, on the ground, in the forest of Myrr. Not disappearing. Not
You
really
need to start saying no to things, Matthew.
I know, your visions will consider consent, Matthew.
Matthew here.
I'm here.
Okay, I just see him loading.
His brain is, oh god, oh fucking, I'm assuming.
I mean, it does that all the time, but yeah.
He's in a permanent state of crisis.
That about sums it up.
As for Marcusar, he had a very strange dream whilst this was all occurring. A replay of the memory that Ranaagash was pulling upon, and it was changing as he was watching it to not fit his own recollections. Where, come the end of his dream, he had a very Wizard of Oz moment where it was the case of Eidolon and Ranaagash both appeared in his dream with his father in the forest of Myrr, and it was all very, you were there.
And you were there. And you were there.
As Eidolon went back to go and get the only other person who could help, Wulfric, and bumped into a woken up Marcusar, convincing him to go back to sleep, though Wulfric wasn't a lot of help in the grand scheme of things. But in this situation, how much help you can be when you bring a dead man back to life? As he suggested bringing Evelios back to camp rather than leaving him in Myrr, definitely not killing Evelios, which was a fact that crossed Eidolon and Ranaagash's mind, and kind of making sure he would be okay to tell Marcasar in the morning, where we kind of get to see what the repercussions of that are, is it's the next morning.
Can you just, like, put it back?
Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me.
Help me, so help me.
As Eidolon Ranaagash, as always, just in terms of, well, for yourself, Ranaagash, a very disturbed sleep. And Eidolon, just because your body clock gets you up early anyway. The two of you are first up in first light.
I would like to say something to Ranaagash if I have that time.
You would.
Cool. As seeing Ranaagash awake, I'd give him a nod to make sure he's actually awake.
Take a second, the eyes are bloodshot, his, bags under him, then he just acknowledge and sort of give you a slow noise.
So, as much as I hoped, that's still there.
Yes.
But can we at least agree that no matter how gestures at the body, gestures at Marcasar, this goes, we still need to do what Bartak's asked of us this morning?
Yes.
I'm more asking, do you want to change anything about what we planned to account for? As originally we were splitting it up between us and, well, then Wulfric and Marcasar would talk to the hunters, but, well, that was when things were easy.
Things are never easy with us.
That's when things were accountable.
Yes.
The attack is still likely to happen at any time, so we still need to act quick. Limited but not exclusive to explaining, as Wulfric recommended, literally anything and everything to... Are you sure you can't just put him back?
I knew how I would have done it by now. Hey, that rhymed.
Next time this starts happening, just don't.
What? Like, to me personally.
That was a little. That was Eidolon to Ranaagash and Craig to Matthew. Fucking fringe keeps covering my fucking eyes.
As Marcasar...
Yeah, I can't see my problems, they're not there.
As Marcasar and Wulfric, you two start getting up in the morning. A very tired Ranaagash and a very exasperated Eidolon already sat in the tent.
Paul's face has the end.
How was my sleep after last night?
Well, you went back to sleep almost immediately after Eidolon kind of gave you the information that, Ranaagash was having a vision and something went wrong and, well, needed Wulfric's help to bring him back to camp. And you're just like, oh yeah, no bother. And turned over, head hit pillow, you were out like a light. Probably one of the best sleeps you've had on this journey. Whether that was chatting to the She or not, you're not too sure, but it was a comfortable sleep. Though it might have also just been a cheese coma.
Oh honey, you got a big storm coming.
As Marcasar, with your passive perception, when you get up that morning, you notice that there is someone else in the tent. As you went to sleep, and there was obviously the bedrolls for the four of you, whilst some empty bedrolls for the hunters, obviously. But one of the bedrolls at kind of the far side of the tent is now occupied, but not by an orc. And with your passive perceptions, you can tell that it is, well, orcs are big, bulky. Ranaagash is slender, yes, but he's also green and very dark-haired.
Also green.
We just need a picture of Ranaagash. It's just like, it ain't easy being green.
This figure is not green and is very fair-haired.
Do I recognize them in any way?
Not as they're bundled under blankets, essentially. At least not at the moment.
Just pelted a blanket at this guy's head.
I'd do like a big stretch. I've slept like a baby, like you said.
Great sleep.
God, I needed that.
Wulfric sits up.
Say, who's that over there?
Who?
Ha, play
Point at obvious fifth person in the tent.
I'd more look at Wolfric just like, do I just do it?
A guy.
I mean, just a guy. Like, is he helping us with our? When did he arrive? He wasn't there when I fell asleep.
Last night. And we don't know if he'll be helping us.
Oh. Okay. I mean, but like, I mean, I woke up in the middle of the night. He wasn't there. Did he like just get here, like before sunrise or something?
Yeah.
I'm just letting Wolfric deal with it.
I like the idea that the awkwardness that's on Matthew's face is also on Ranaagash's face right now.
Well, I suppose if he just got here, we'll let him sleep. What's for breakfast?
Can make some porridge. Porridge time.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
When the trauma hits, it's porridge time.
It's porridge time.
As for your breakfast, at least for the duration that Wolfric cooks it and you guys sit down to eat it, kind of quite hurriedly, given, at least for Eidolon and Ranaagash, what you guys know needs to be done in the morning, as well as wanting to get out of here as quickly as possible before he wakes up. You guys are actually quite lucky, as
Really?
he doesn't seem to wake up.
Maybe if we just leave him unconscious enough, he will die.
He just has a fucking brain hemorrhage?
Oh no, he might just die of starvation or something.
I can't believe that ignoring it until it goes away may genuinely be an option.
Our only option. What's the current situation then? Are we okay in the tent?
Well, he's not really moved, he's not woken up. You guys at this point will have finished eating. Ranaagash, Eidolon, you know that there are essentially 3 locations Bartak has advised for you guys to go to. The healer's tent, the ritual grounds, and the hunting grounds.
Alright, Wolfric, Marcusar, we do have a job this morning. We had a chance to speak to the chieftain last night, and with an attack and an ambiguous amount away, he's asked us to go find help, considering the elders refused to help him.
Okay. Who are
He
we
says
asking?
2 of the elders might be reasonable, so myself and Ranaagash are going to go talk to them. Whilst the two of you, there's some hunting grounds where some hunters, as I just turned to Ranaagash to essentially finish the statement.
Give you a nod. Oh, you're just okay. Hunters, yes, need to be found. This place is going to need. It's going to need to be defended.
And Wolfric being, well, the most practical among us, and Marcusar being connected with nature, probably the best to talk to some hunters.
Yes.
I'm quite vehemently opposed to hunting.
And
I'll try not to make it an issue.
it was more for if they were difficult to find, it might be good for someone who knows trees to look for them.
I suppose.
Using the trees to find.
I don't know, signs, markings
I
left
speak
for the trails.
trees.
And they are speaking Vietnamese.
Cool. Well, let's go find some help. We need all the help we can get right now. Is that guy in the tent coming with us, or?
It's better we just leave him for now. Let's get going.
No worries.
You guys are playing that game, are you?
Second he wakes up and starts walking around this fucking camp, we're screwed.
As it will take Marcusar and Wolfric, it will take you guys a little bit longer to get to the hunting grounds. You do have obviously free reign of the camp, as even though the elders do not particularly like you at the moment, it would seem that at least the other orcs and the other members of the camp, whilst maybe not warming to you, do not stop you in any way. They are quite happy to let you be as you make your way through the camp. Eidolon and Ranaagash, you guys don't take too long to at least get to your first of your 2 locations. As you can hear I wouldn't say commotion, but very much raised voices coming from the Elder's tent, particularly Bartak's voice, as well as the more gruff voice of the more muscular orc that was very adamant against the four of you yesterday.
A friend.
It seems that the conversation is going quite sour. Ranaagash obviously being able to speak Orcish and understand it. It seems that Bartak, whilst going there to keep up appearances this morning, is not letting go of trying to get the other elders' assistance. However, Rak is very adamant against giving you guys any assistance. At least not until, well, you guys are in a position to... I say you guys. Ranaagash is in a position to once again serve the elders, so that they can at least prove and predict when the fight will happen, so that they can better prepare. Whereas Bartak is very much not happy with that solution, as in his mind, the orcs can no longer be reliant on you. They need to learn how to defend themselves, which they also don't seem to like the sound of. But you guys kind of ignore that commotion and head to the healer's tent instead. There are some orcs within this tent, and within the, I guess, the group of healers of Myrr that you do know. But that's not who you're looking for, at least not this morning, as whilst familiar faces pass, you're looking for Shotha in particular, where you can see her gathered with a group of acolytes, seemingly growing different types of plants and herbs. She is manipulating their growth to essentially speed it up, talking them through different methods for doing such things and how to use the plants in healing. She doesn't notice the two of you coming in.
I'm mainly just going to be gesturing at Ranaagash more. This was one of the more positive ones, wasn't it?
Yes. She seemed very positive towards Ranaagash, and in your own experiences, Ran, Shotha was... I wouldn't say she was reluctant, she was more reluctant than the others, but she was more reluctant to force visions out of you because she usually had to deal with the repercussions, obviously trying to heal and mend you afterwards. She was still reliant on your visions and still encouraged you training and learning how to use magic, but she was quite vehemently against forcing you to have visions or forcing you to prophesize things, because she knew what it was doing to you mentally, and she didn't like having to repair that in essentially a child when you started. So she's always been that little bit kinder towards you in comparison to some of the others.
Right. The best Doctor Strange impression here. Oh, so we've come past the old system.
Are you speaking in Orcish or in Common?
Orcish is probably a better bet.
Yeah.
I think that's what they all seem to prefer.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of turns around, looks between the two of you, her acolytes, very wide-eyed, particularly at Ranaagash, and more curious towards Eidolon. Continue with your work. I will only be a moment. As she too is still speaking in Orcish. Ranaagash, I understand that may be the case, but we have already told the chief that we will not assist.
There's nothing you can do. As I give her my best puppy dog eyes.
You don't happen to be a haunted one background, do you, Matthew?
At this
No,
point,
but I have been pretty haunted as of late.
at this point, you might as well be.
Honorary haunted one background.
I would need reason to believe that the forest is going to be attacked, almost imminently.
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't. I wouldn't return with so little that I not deem it necessary.
Then tell me what it is we are fighting.
Man with dark powers over life and death. Just not like us.
And what exactly are these dark powers?
Infect the living in such a way that they cannot be healed, and to bring back the dead in such a way that they are not the same.
You know, my powers are to heal the sick and injured. I don't have magic that can harm, or at least not Not like you, not like Dalarash.
Not what we're asking for. If we send orcs out to fight this man, we don't want them all to die.
She kind of stops for a moment and turns to Eidolon, speaking in common.
Hello. Well, that's kind of good, as I wouldn't have been able to understand it.
Oh yes. Considering you've not really been able to eavesdrop in any other conversation thus far, she can make a logical conclusion that you can't understand a word she's saying.
Woe is me, I cannot eavesdrop.
If the Orcs of Myrr were to fight this dark magic, as Ranaagash puts it, tell me truly how many would die.
Is she asking that to me?
Yep.
Depends on how much you're willing to do to save them.
That wasn't my question.
No, but I can only answer it with one. As, if you're not willing to do what is required, a lot. But, if you can, I can say quite confidently, fairly few. As long as your warriors are competent.
I would say they are, but they are not like you.
I guess, without knowledge of what you've asked Ranaagash, a lot will die if you are not to help them. And a lot more will suffer in pain than even that. I hope that's understood.
Then I have one more question. What use am I against something that can raise the dead?
I'd look towards Ranaagash, as he has a better understanding of what this person's magic is than I do. I don't really know who we're talking to.
Use is in making sure he has none to raise.
You understand if I help you, Ranaagash. If we win or if we lose, you will have to travel far from Maya for a very long time.
If that's what it takes to save this place.
The eldest will know that you have asked me to help you. And if you stay, your life here will no longer be the same. Is that something you are willing to have happen?
If that's what it takes.
Then you have passed the rite, and you have spoken truthfully, both of you. When this forest is attacked, you will have my assistance as well as that of my acolytes.
Thank you.
You're doing us and all of your people a great service. Thanks.
I would not be doing it if Ranaagash had not accepted the risk.
Metaphorical jazz hands at Ranaagash.
He is giving up a life he knows to save his people. Now, I will speak with my acolytes and be ready for when the time comes.
Just be aware that time could be tomorrow, the day after, it could be in a few hours. There's no way for us to know. And that is honesty.
Then I will ready as many as I can.
Ranaagash, who next is it we need to speak to?
It is Dalarash, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Dalarash. Up at the ritual grounds.
Was this one agreeable during that trial, or?
Somewhat.
Good luck, as she's only likely to speak to you. As I'd give a simple nod to the woman here before we jog on.
Jog on. And continue on your way towards the ritual grounds to hopefully find another member to join the fold or join the fray. As for Wulfric and Marcusar, you guys get to the hunting grounds. This very kind of open expanse where there are some, I guess, are animals that are farmed here. However, the hunters are not here. Likelihood is they're still out in the woods. So, you will need to find them. Or at least track them.
Marcus, how can you track them?
Try my best. Do I see any noticeable orc footprints?
There are a lot here. This is very trodden earth, as this is kind of where a lot of the hunters camp. You would have to
Any
give
fresh
me,
ones?
You'd have to give me a survival check to see if you could find the trail of the most recent set. 16, not bad.
Yeah.
You I guess, kind of go more northwards in the hunting grounds. You try to avoid a lot of the enclosures or the small set of tents that have kind of been set up in the centre of it. You kind of keep away from those, as those seem to be a lot older or a lot more frequented tracks, and you start branching out to the forest where it becomes a bit more infrequent, though a few of the footprints become a bit deeper, where you have, I guess, 2 sets of tracks. And you can either split off, Wolfric following one and you following another, or you both can follow the same set of tracks, as there are 2 sets going in different directions.
Bad shit always happens when I go off into the woods on my own.
At least he addresses it.
That is true.
Wolfric, should we try this path first, follow it for some time, and then maybe come back and try the other?
Sounds good.
We take the left.
The left? Do you not want to know the difference between the 2 before you decide on them?
Oh, what's the difference?
The difference between the 2 paths is one of the paths only seem to be 2 sets of footprints, so like 2 people walking one of the path. The other side seems to be 4 sets.
Wolfric, should we go for the 2 or the 4?
4.
4 it is.
As you guys head to find the 4, Marcusar, can you give me another survival check? Just as you're following the tracks and trails. 23, as I was just checking my notes.
I can now tell when Matthew's taking notes because his mic becomes
yeah,
muted.
he mutes himself. It's because he's a dumbass and forgot his headset, so...
Over here.
As the 2 of you follow for not too long, maybe the hunting grounds is maybe 10-15 minutes outside of the encampment, and you're maybe getting to the half an hour point further than that, so all in all getting to an hour away from the encampment. Though what you find at the end of your trail is the end of a battle, as there are 4 orcs, 3 I guess very traditional orcish hunters, big broad soldiers, very muscular, all wielding very large weapons, though quite rudimentary in their style. The other one, however, is a bit more like Ranaagash, a bit more muscular and slightly taller, with longer hair. And, well, you've seen Ranaagash use a hand axe. They seem to prefer what looks like you'd assume a longbow or short bow, but it seems like they've almost handcrafted this one themselves, where they are inspecting bodies on the ground.
What kind of bodies are on the ground?
Humanoid bodies of varying different races. The thing that stands out to the 2 of you is they are in varying states of decay, with various different, almost purple and black blotches covering their body.
Are they aware that we're here?
As the 2 of you come on approach, the other 3 not so much. The half-orcish one, wielding the kind of handcrafted bow, kind of turns around. Strangely enough, rather than drawing 1 arrow, is able to notch 3 arrows in the bow quite comfortably, and points the bow at you. And says something, though you've got no clue what he's saying.
Raise our hands. I raise my hands at least, don't know what Wolfric's doing.
If you're shooting that at us, you're wasting an arrow.
Or 3.
If I was shooting it at you, you'd be dead. Who are the 2 of you? The forest is off limits.
I'm Wolfric Grindbrand, the Iron Dragons. This is Father Marcusar Wild of the Green Hand. We're friends of Ranaagash.
He kind of doesn't unnotch them, but loosens the string ever so slightly. Ranaagash is back in camp.
He's been back for a few days now.
We've been out for a few days. Explains why we've not seen him.
We're here to ask for your help. There is a grave threat encroaching upon this encampment. We are not sure when, but we know that he is coming. And we understand whether or not he is as magical as he is. He does not know these woods. You know these woods. We are asking for your tactical advantage.
One of the more bulkier orcs steps forward, kind of very broken as he does speak in common, somewhat, though not expertly. Why would we trust you? We don't know you, and you say you know the bastard.
The bastard is not here to corroborate, but I have taken the trial and earned the chieftain's trust. And ask him that as much.
He kind of looks at you. Well, we're already dealing with something. Gestures at bodies on the ground.
There's more of them to come.
Then why are we needed back
are-
at camp?
Because the bodies that will be dropped by this man will get back up.
Can I... These creatures, these humanoid figures that they're standing over, we can assume that they're blighted?
Yes.
Why are they not... Why are they staying down?
Are you asking me that?
With Marksar's questioning, is there anything different about these blighted bodies? Like, how were they... What took them down? Because it appears that only, like, fire kind of deals with them.
You can give me a history check. To see if you can recall a piece of information that Craig has told you in the past.
No.
You're not too sure. By all means and logic, these bodies should be getting back up. The span of your conversation with these orcs, from what you guys have seen with other blighted creatures, has been enough for them to rise again, and yet they're not. You can see that a few of them have gashes in their side, a few of them have arrows in their head and in their chest, but that's not stopped them before. You've seen Wolfric nearly cleave one in two, and it still got back up. You've turned one to goop, and the goop got back up.
A bit of advice: you've handled these ones well. Perhaps these are anomalies, aberrants in their otherwise unstoppable hordes. But if you have any method of lighting your arrows on fire, I would advise that. They are very adverse to flame.
I can light my arrows on fire, but if you'd advise, we can burn these bodies. But you understand the chief has asked us to hunt the grounds and make sure they're safe.
The bodies will have to be reported, but they will need to be burned on the off chance that these ones could get back up. They do not seem to be, but they could get back up. The creatures of the encroaching force, he has the ability to raise the dead, and it will not matter if it is your brother, your sister, father, or your mother. It will fight you to the death if it is brought back.
Then, as I said, these will be burned. But the chief has given us orders to keep the perimeter. The four of us and two others, who are a bit more light-foot, mind you, that is what we're out here to do. We don't... And he kind of holds up his hands as one still has the bow with the kind of arrows between his almost knuckles. I mean, no offense, take orders from outsiders.
Understandable. I'm asking you to make no. I'm asking you to try what your chieftain says and all else. Alright, I will speak to him. You keep doing what you're doing. Just be aware of this man, of what he's capable of. Half-elfin man, shorter than I am.
Tiny man.
Has the look, has the greatest physical description I can give is he always has a look on his face like everyone around him is dirt.
We will keep an eye out.
We will warn your fellow hunters that took the other path.
You may be able to catch up with them from here.
Every time I hear Wolfric describe Gairdra a new way, I gain an extra year on my life.
As Marksar, give me a survival.
Because it's kind of hard to describe Gairdra without defaulting to big scary wolf man.
Yeah. Gotta be like creative rather than just giving the same thing all the time.
Also, Wolfric has genuinely kind of forgot what Gairdra looks like when he's not a giant wolf man.
That is...
When he's not, he's just a little disappointing.
That's kind of the problem, is he kind of looks like Eidolon, but a half-elf with darker hair.
Yeah. And
Also, I'm handsome, he's not.
That's
You're-
going to keep happening. That's going to break me every time it occurs.
You
No,
see,
they're
I win,
leaving.
Eidolon. You see, I win. I've depicted you as the soy jack and me as the Chad.
As Marcusar, you are able to pick up another trail as you kind of come down the path and then start to veer off further into the woods. Hopefully being able to find the other two hunters, perhaps having more luck. As you kind of start trailing off into the woods, hopefully being able to find the other two hunters. And hopefully maybe having more luck bringing them back to camp than you did with these four.
Yes.
As jumping back to Eidolon and Ranaagash, as you guys head northwards back towards the ward and back towards the ritual site. You can see that, well, you never really noticed it as you were entering and exiting the ritual grounds, but there appears to be quite a lot of cracks in the ward where you guys came and went, and there you can see this kind of very short orc covered in trinkets, baubles and runestones, mending and repairing the barrier.
I see no issues with this. This seems about normal.
It's who we're looking for.
Let's hope they just want to see you, Matthew.
Me too. Oh, gosh, we've come to ask for your assistance.
Come to bargain.
So, Mamu, I've come to bargain.
Standing in the back like a kid whose mom is asking for help at the train station.
He asked for no pickles on his burger.
I assumed you would come to see me at some point, Ranaagash. I just didn't know when. You understand, I cannot give you assistance.
Yes. We're asking you better than nothing.
Then why are you here?
Because we need help.
Then you would be better asking your friend and his hunters.
I'm assuming this is all in Orcish.
Yes.
Friend?
The chief, Ranaagash.
Just making sure we're on the same page.
You were a good student, but you were never the smartest.
I have few talents and many weaknesses, but I do them well. But no, Chieftain is on our side.
I am aware.
Cover-
No doubt he asked you to come and speak to me.
It.
You understand you are already giving up a lot by defying the elders.
I'm very aware, yes.
And yet you continue to do so.
I do, yes.
Why?
That's what it's going to take to save this place.
So why are you doing this, Ran? And don't say it's to protect the people of this forest.
Is there a problem with that reason?
I want to know why you are doing this.
What other reason do I need?
Be emotional, Ranaagash. Actually be honest with me.
It helps. It helps with the visions, it helps with the pain, it helps knowing I am the only one who has to see the things I see.
And what have you seen?
This place destroyed 1,000 times over.
And will my assistance make a difference? Answer me honestly.
We have to try.
She kind of stops, takes a few steps forwards, more towards Eidolon than to yourself.
Oh, hello.
Yes, hello you. As she addresses you in common, obviously you cannot speak Orcish.
Not until 13th level.
2 levels away. I hope you know what your involvement has done for Ranaagash.
Excuse my potential ignorance, but I have absolutely no idea what you mean.
The path he is on and the decisions he has made. From this point on, this forest can no longer be his home. And that is your fault.
And if he didn't make those decisions, he wouldn't have a forest to call home. Not now and not in the future.
You misunderstand. I am not blaming you. He understands, and he would have likely done it with someone else, not just yourself. I am more making you aware, as despite his age, he still needs someone to look after him.
She just looked at Ranaagash and just said, "You baby."
Yes. He is emotional, he is brash, and his visions and magic are questionable at best. He is strong, and he doesn't know how strong. I will no longer be able to teach him. And whilst I assume you are not magically inclined, you seem to care for him.
Shocked that my appearance gave away such a detail. I feel the best way to put it is I care that he doesn't destroy himself, either externally or internally.
Then at least when he walks out of this forest, he is walking out with someone who will keep an eye on him.
Tell me, whilst I actually have your ear, did you ever teach him how to stop his own visions?
I taught him how to cast magic. I helped him harness the abilities of his bloodline. I did not teach him about his visions.
Did anyone?
Yes, but I don't know how much she was able to teach, as his abilities were not that of her own.
Then I guess in simple terms, I've attempted help, but the problem is that whilst he's gained greater control over the basics, and then when it gets a bit more complicated, he doesn't know how to stop them. As I turn to Ranaagash, does that sound about right?
Yes.
I mean, at the very least, how long has it been since you've seen the end of the world?
Probably a while.
Like
Yeah.
2 months or something like that, if you're wanting a duration, I think.
That's pretty long.
I mean, you have also seen, like, your death, the party's death, Sophia's death.
And I don't know if this is progress either, but ever since we started, I don't know if training's the term, he hasn't had a vision at random. I don't know if that's a feat.
It's certainly progress since he was here. If you are not inducing them, and he is doing it within his own volition, then it is progress indeed.
I do not know the tongue well enough to attempt to pronounce your name, but I have no idea how I'd go about doing that. All the training, in quotations, he's done has been because at the very least he has been willing to.
Then I guess the next step of your journey, Ranaagash, is to finally accept that this is a part of you.
Oh, it's a wholesome message.
Be willing to make them happen as much as you are willing to make them stop. And
Alright. No, there is more.
there is more. If you have time before you are to leave this forest, if this is the stage you are at with your sight, perhaps talk to your father and ask about your mother.
Do that.
It is probably about time he actually told you about her. Because I know she wouldn't tell you anything. She is a strong-spirited woman that cares too much for you. But, and she kind of looks between the two of you, if this forest is to be attacked, you will have my assistance.
Thank you.
I would also give a nod of appreciation.
Before anything happens with the two of you, we have Pollen, Ewan, Wolfric, and Marcusar as you follow this trail and track, and it takes you actually back towards the hunting grounds, though not too far off the outskirts, where you kind of loop around the tracks and end up doubling back on yourself. Where not too far from these kind of enclosed sections, these pens for the animals that seem to be herded for the Orcs of Myrr, you see two female orcs. One a little bit more broad-shouldered than the other, quite thin and quite short. The more broad standing probably closer to 6 foot, and the shorter that of maybe 5'5", 5'6". Both dressed in very similar garb, though one seemingly having a lot lighter weaponry on her than the other one, as they seem to be having a conversation with themselves. almost in cold sweats, though you are unable to discern said conversation as neither of you speak Orcish.
Are they aware of us being there?
They are, but unless you pay them mind, they don't seem to pay you too much mind. At least not initially.
I guess I would call out to them and be like, "Hello there, we... what's... I was about to say, we come in peace." That's so...
So cliche.
Hello, Earthling.
Orcling?
Inkling?
Woomy?
Hello, we asked for your assistance.
The kind of more broad-shouldered one kind of almost runs a hand over her forehead and through quite a matted mess of quite dark hair. Who are you?
I am Father Marksar Wild. This is Wolfric Reinbrand of the Iron Dragons. We are friends of Ranaagash.
You need our assistance because?
A great evil is to befall this forest, and we need every hand we can get.
The kind of shorter one, quite like she was similar levels of confidence as the more muscular one. Then you mentioned Ranaagash, and she kind of becomes a bit more nervous. As she kind of doesn't address the two of you, still speaks in Orcish, and says something to the... Now that you see the two of them, they're quite clearly siblings, and the more muscular one is the elder of the two. As they have a small conversation in Orcish before the elder turns towards the two of you. We already have an issue. I was hoping the others would be back already, but here are outsiders asking for assistance instead.
Your fellow hunting party shared us same sentiment, but it is of great urgency that we protect this forest.
That is why we were here. We were hoping they would be back so we could report to the chieftain. There is something moving in the forest, quick and fast, and approaching a lot swifter than perhaps we would like.
Any idea what kind of creature?
No.
A wolf?
She kind of cocks her head and looks at you. We know what wolves look like.
This ain't any ordinary wolf you might be dealing with.
No. It was... My sister and I are sent out to track and to hunt. We find herds so that other hunters can come and clear up the mess. We don't engage where possible. We felt tremors and we found the signs. Something large is moving through the forest.
I feel what you track and what we are warning you of are the same thing.
Then, the three of us will report to the chieftain to what I've seen. And she kind of turns to the younger of the two of them, again switching to Orcish, and says something to her. Where the younger of the two sisters seem to almost give the two of you quite a wide berth as she runs off into the woods.
Back in the direction of the hunting grounds, or just...
Back into the direction of the 4 orcs that the two of you left.
Okay.
Patrolling the boundaries. Where the moment she gets quite far into the foliage, actually not even that, maybe only a few feet, she just seemingly disappears from your sight. Neither of you can see her.
Okay.
As, at least for the 4 of you, despite being in different locations on the other side of camp, as you start making your way back to the centre encampment, something strange happens. For all 4 of you to see. Matthew, are you okay? You look very concerned all of a sudden. Have I said something?
How can we all witness the same thing if we're so far apart from each other?
I'm giving Matthew the fear and I've not even started yet. As the sky, this kind of morning blue that sends a green hue through Myrr, disappears. Almost as if night falls a lot faster than it should be. The sky goes black, the forest goes black, leaving only leftover sconces and torches from the lights from, at least for Wolfasar? Ship name!
Wolfasar. That's his first soda.
Wulfric and Marcusar, the light of the hunting grounds, this kind of orange hue of flame, still lingers. And for Eidolon and Ranaagash, the kind of blue shimmering hue of the wards that sit around the ritual ground give you some light in this darkness. However, the four of you feel that sinking feeling, that haunting feeling that sends shivers up your spine and a rock sitting in the bottom of your stomach, as a light does start to crest over Myrr that could be mistaken for flames poking through the tree lines, though doesn't seem to be burning anything, just sparking enough to cast shadow on the tree lines, where purple fire and purple light begin to fill the forest.
Are we still with the Elder?
You're still with Dalarash, and for Wulfric and Marcusar, you are still with this Orcan hunter.
I leave Wulfric to think about Marcusar's dad right now.
Oh shit, I forgot about him.
Where shadows start to emerge and bodies start to emerge. Quite a lot of figures and faces, blurred, contorted, and disfigured. Where, as I need to set up some maps, we're going to cut to a small break that hopefully won't be long, just while I set some stuff up and nip to the bathroom. As you boys are in combat when we come back.
Oh, gosh. Let's dungeon these dragons.
Let's get ready to rumble.
As we come back from break. Why, Craig? As I'm going to have to do a little bit of explaining of this combat, as this is a 3 different location combat. I have the ordering of how the different locations will go in initiative, and then everything in that location is also in its own initiative order. This is the table. It hurts a lot.
Oh, Christ.
As until you guys meet in the middle, i.e. the encampment, certain things will happen, certain people will take damage, tokens will move around the map, and obviously you will have your own spaces to manage and deal with. Obviously the intention of this is not to hold your own ground, because at that point, I mean you can if you want, but you're likely to get swamped. Your hope is to make it back to the encampment so that you can fight with a larger force with the people that you have been able to gather. So for Marcusar and Wolfric, you guys are obviously in the Hunting Grounds initiative order, and Eidolon and Ranaagash, you guys are in the Ritual Grounds initiative order until you guys get to the encampment, to which case you will then be slotted into that initiative order.
Oh boy.
This is our biggest combat yet, lads.
Hope this doesn't take more than 10 minutes in game.
That could be problematic. As technically first turn order is neither of you, as I get to move around some other things on the map, where I'm not going to move around. The boys have kind of generalized tokens on the map. Unlike your encampment in the cave, I'm not going to attempt to replicate this because it's not to scale, but I'm going to make some attacks, take some damage, and in my head move some pieces around so that when you guys get there, things will have changed slightly from what you can see on the map.
Is it potentially too much to ask for a key of what each of the colours mean?
I will get there when it's your guys' turn. I will try and explain some of them for you.
Okay, there when we get there.
So that when it gets to you guys' turn, you can see what is on the map with you. As I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Roll a lot of dice.
I could hear you rolling them from here.
And then work my way down the list, which is nice. This doesn't bode well at all.
Hey, it could mean it doesn't bode well for her as the GM, meaning like the combat might be over quickly.
Oh, don't jinx it.
I'm not jinxing it, I'm trying to be hopeful.
Okay, so that's going well so far. As things seem to be going okay in the background, I'm going to scribble that out because I don't need it right now, is I am on round 1. So second round of combat jumps to Eidolon and Ranaagash, as you guys are with Dalarash, where the yellow dots for you guys on the map are blighted creatures. They appear to be well equipped is a word to describe them. They are more peasant style. Looks like they're kind of a bit more mindless, not as conscious. The green dot that you have there is a little bit more concerning, at least for yourself, Eidolon, as this creature, or this humanoid, is a lot more well equipped, and looks a lot more, I guess, sentient, as it wields no weapons and appears to be a caster of some kind. The purple dot that is on the map with you is Dalarash. In terms of numbers, the green dot is 1 creature, the 3 yellow dots have 4 creatures in each group.
Yeah.
As top of initiative order for your guys' area, it is you, Eidolon.
Cool. First things first, looking at the Elder. Well, that's it started now. As I turn back to Ranaagash, get her, and I'm assuming she's the only person here by the way of the map?
Yep, it's just the 3 of you, as Ewan dies. Okay, we'll do it that way.
Yeah, I turn to Ranaagash and just say, get her and get back to the camp, alright?
What about you?
I can catch up exceedingly quickly, and that, as I point towards the
green boy.
caster-looking man, that is both not something I recognize and a lot more worrying to be left alive.
Right.
You got that, though?
Yes.
And if, whilst you're moving back, you happen to be able to cast a few spells over your shoulder, that wouldn't be an issue.
I can certainly do that for you.
Go for what I'm not going for. As going around Ranaagash and with a lot of movement speed, I'm going to make my way here.
Yep.
Essentially darting through the crowd a little bit. Actually, just before I leave, I turn to the Elder and just say, try not to be alarmed, Ranaagash. Try explain if you're leaving. Well, whilst you're leaving. As I essentially dart the crowd a little bit before taking my arm, there's the audible click as I place it against the ground. And can all of them make me a dex save?
So that would be 2 groups.
The green and the yellow.
16 and 11. Nope.
16 passes.
You guys are what, +4 at the moment? For
Yes.
proficiency? 18 and 13.
Cool. 18 passes, 13 still fails. So, which one failed, perchance?
Group of yellow failed. Green one passed.
So essentially, it'll probably be able to dart out of the way as a tendril comes out of the ground, but worming my way from my arm down into the ground, and then erupting out beneath each and every one of this yellow dots, all 3 of them, tendrils burst out and harass into their bodies. As that is now... Yes. As they all take 16 force damage. As for an aesthetic for Matthew, as he's the only one who can see this, and this is the first time it's happening to Eidolon too, so it is frankly slightly disturbing. His visage activates at the same time, though it isn't just the veins moving up his neck. This time, alongside the tendrils bursting out the ground, it almost seems to be bursting out of Eidolon at the same time, as a almost shadowed veil with almost spikes of these shadowed tendrils appears over half of his face, as from the entire left-hand side of his body is an almost large, still formed out the tendrils, though it makes the shape of a wing. As I'm going to make 2 attacks. One with my sword and one with my punch against the more caster in front of me. So let's do this thingy. As that's a 25 and a 21.
Both will hit.
So with the sword, it's essentially as it sort of almost probably takes a sidestep out of the way of the tendril, it's stepping forward and taking a slash through. Trying to catch its movement slightly off guard. As it takes 21 slashing damage.
I need that one, and yes.
And then essentially taking advantage again of the large wound, he raises up his fist, goes to just punch as per normal with the blight covering it, but again for Matthew who is there, the wing that's sort of sprouted out the left hand side of his body almost curves around and arcs along his left arm as he brings the fist forward, as I'm going to use my empowered arms, which deals an additional d8.
Yep.
So it takes 24 force damage, that's all 8s.
Let's go!
Which would be...
I forgot to do additional, that's not just 24, that's plus an additional 4, as I forgot to include my wisdom modifier.
Well, aren't
So
you
that's actually
special?
28 damage. How's that thing in front of me looking?
Okay, actually.
That is deeply upsetting.
Like, it's not pristine, but it's not looking worse for wear either. So, 2 of these kind of groups move towards Dalarash. That's not good.
Matthew, will this frail old woman survive many attacks?
She's looking more worse for wear than the caster you're playing with. As Ranaagash.
Oh boy. Okay, first, before I do anything, can I just clarify, how are you ruling these groups for spell sake? Are you
So
ruling them as
I'm giving-
4 targets or 1?
I'm giving them... Essentially, I'm treating it as like the group of 4 is 1 target.
Right. Okay.
They have cumulative health, they only roll, because I've got so many of them for this combat, if you're making them make a save, they only roll 1 save per group.
Yeah.
Just because if I was to try and roll individually, this combat would be stupidly long in comparison to what it is at the moment.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to clarify before I throw out like a scorching ray or something. But that's useful.
Aesthetically,
Okay.
you could obviously hit multiple targets in the same group, but for rolls, it's
Yeah.
like 1 roll per group, unless you're
Right,
obviously
okay.
aiming all scorching rays at the same group.
Yeah. Right, so next question. How is Dalarash looking?
On a scale of 1 to 99, 54.
Not good.
Uh-oh, spaghettios. This is
Eh.
not very poggers, gamers.
We don't even know how you guys are doing yet.
On the
This
one
is not
hand,
very poggers, gamers.
on the one hand, that's a lot of damage. On the other, I'm mad that she has more health than I do by a good margin. But I can't really do much to help move her that will not damage her. So I'm just going to take like a couple. Actually, other question I should ask. I take it. Do I need to roll for Eidolon Sword?
No. You seemingly,
Right.
as much as it still bothers you a little bit, your brain doesn't immediately jump to it anymore. It almost becomes an afterthought.
Okay. I just thought it just hit me. I thought I should double check that. But anyways, I shall back up like
It's almost as if your
10.
fear is, over.
I wanted to check. Okay. I haven't rolled in a while.
Yeah, that's true. I think it was over
So-
maybe 2 or 3 days ago.
Yeah, so I should back up about 10, maybe 15 feet just away, and I shall throw out a... What level do I want here? Wait, what does upcasting actually do? Yeah, there's no point in upcasting because I only need to hit 3 targets for now. So I'll just cast it at base 2nd level. But it is a spell attack with a +8. So let me slam at my free rolls for you. Facts. Yeah, you know what? I'll do that now and save myself a hassle. I shall. With my bonus action, I shall expend 2 of my rings and just do the same thing again, so I get 6 bolts and 2 each. And that is the 2. One of these days I will remember what everything else and not have to double check. But I like being sure of myself.
No, you'll be playing D&D in 30 years and still be checking like what a first
It-
level spell does.
It's just who I am as a person.
To be fair, it's
1,
what I'm
2,
currently
3,
doing in the
4,
background.
5. How many of those hit? The yellow.
The yellows. Single yellow or multiple yellow?
Well, all 3.
It will hit all 3 of them.
Okay. So that.
So are you essentially doing like 2 per dot?
Yes. So how am I splitting the damage here?
Do like... Good question.
Well, how many of those hit? That's probably the way to make it easy.
4.
4. That does not make it easy at all.
So essentially, if you're taking it in groups of 2, the 10 misses, the 26 hits, the 14 and 19 hit, the 10 misses, the 17 hits.
Right. So 2d6, 2d6, 4d6.
Yes.
Or 2d6, 4d6. So the middle one should be the 4, just to line it up with the ones that hit. So 10, 13, and 7.
7. That is
So
some
that
damage.
is 2 spell slots.
Why do they have a color for a 1 and a 6? It's like a blue.
Is that not average damage?
It would be just to like cancel
It's
out or
because there's
something.
a 6 and a 1. It turns blue if there's a max and a minimum in the same.
It's a
Yeah.
little odd.
I think it's cool.
It is cool.
I'm not saying.
But it's more
it's
just-
bad.
Realistically, it should be orange because then it would be the traffic light colors.
Damn it! They missed an opportunity.
What is the range on this as... First, I literally just had it open. Where'd it go? Target's within 30 feet of the first. Okay, so that'll get all but one, but that's not what I'm doing first. First I have Eidolon dex save.
9.
You failed a dex save?
I rolled a 4 on dice. Wait, no, that should be a +7. So that should be an 11.
You still failed the dex save. That's weird.
May I ask what damage this is?
Necrotic.
Nothing happens.
Yeah, they don't know that.
I ask what happens so I can aestheticize.
As essentially the almost caster, the priest that is before you, almost opens its mouth and this mist starts emanating from it, where the moment it hits the ground it almost erupts, as it has done before with other creatures, though this time it doesn't really seem to affect you, as a blighted wave seems to emit from the creature.
The way I'm going to say that happened is essentially seeing the wave coming, Eidolon will have taken a step back, but then almost as the wave is about to hit, as he realizes he can't get out of the way, the wing that's on his left-hand side curls round and almost wraps around from the front, becoming larger, and just sucks up the blighted energy.
As I need to find the page. This is why I don't like using casters in combat.
Well, yeah, because you have to worry about all of their spells.
It also means I have to remember the alphabet, which is another problem entirely.
You have to sing it to yourself.
No.
I mean, I have to.
Which is... Actually, what's the cumulative average? Because I'm just going to do that fuck rolling. So that'd be 2, 3. 3 times 8 is...
24.
There you go. Eidolon, you kind of watch as the mist kind of swirls around you. This caster seems to pull threads of it. Again, a lot more conscious, a lot more sentient than you're used to from blighted creatures, as this thing seems to be casting magic, as it pulls almost needles of shadow from the ground that shoot into your body. You take, what was it, Matthew? 34 damage?
24.
So quick,
24. Thank
quickly,
you.
what was it to hit?
It's not, it's magic missile.
Is this considered a projectile?
No.
Hey? Is it?
You said the line.
I'm gonna let Matthew look it up.
That's
Doesn't
why,
explicitly say the word projectile.
that's why I was like, I would say no because it's magical force.
So how much is that?
24. As these kind of almost needles of black energy just pierce into you. As it's then Dalarash's go, where very familiar tactics to yourself. Ranaagash, she casts Misty Step and gets out of dodge. She then does something that I don't know if Ran actually has, although I don't think you've got very many of the higher level spells, at least not at the moment. As kind of
You're a swarm.
taking a few steps back from casting her Misty Step, just to give her a little bit more, I guess, range. Lightning begins to crackle from between her fingers as she shoots out a bolt towards one of the creatures. Nope, not that. That, thank you. As you watch as several bolts of lightning jump out, sparking and crackling, jumping between the two groups that were attacking her, dealing quite a bit of hefty damage and leaving them with quite a lot of scorch marks upon them, as she casts Chain Lightning.
You know, it's chain lightning.
Yes.
And so do I just haven't cast it yet.
That's why I was like, I don't know if you have it or not, but I know she has it. Quite appropriate if you have it then, considering she's the one that taught you magic.
Mm-hmm.
As last group, Eidolon not very happy with you, attempting to attack you.
Bitch, you won't.
Well, no, they fucking won't. Even with an advantage, it was a 13 and 11.
Motherfucker!
As you guys kind of take your first turn in combat, where Wulfric and Marcus are. You guys are in perhaps a less fortunate position, though we shall see. As the grey dots on the map represent your allies, right now you only have the one that is beside you. The orange dots appear to be, much to Wulfric's dismay, though to your own curiosity as well, there are some of them that are garbed as iron dragons, and there are others that appear to be wearing the garb of watchmen, not too dissimilar from Eidolon, as these appear to be perhaps a lot more well trained than the common blighted creatures that you guys are familiar with. as well, one of them can move first in comparison to the rest of them. Each of the orange dots, by the way, represent 5 different figures.
Oh damn.
By the way, just to say, Wolfric's emotional journey when he first saw the blighted creatures were, what the fuck are these? And then when he saw ones that were people he knew, he was like that scene of Jesse from Breaking Bad going, he can't keep getting away with this. And now Wolfric's reaction is just Rick and Morty meme. Oh, here I go killing again.
How and why? Paul, I'm sorry. As the first group moves forward, these 5 ones almost gathering around you just to kind of pierce and wail on you. They are a lot more skilled in combat, they seem to be a lot more tactful, and I just rolled 2 nat 20s.
Oh, Marcusar, it was really fun to play with you a third time.
As Paul, you take 20 damage. Actually, no, I lied to you. 40 damage because it's 2 attacks. And 20 damage is a crit on 1.
Well, you know what's nice? Having my HP at a nice round 100, because now everything is just a percentage.
As they've not arrived yet.
Right.
Oh.
Wait a second. Am I within 10 feet of Markstar?
You would be, yes.
I'll take that 40 damage.
No, Wolfric, honestly, you don't have to.
Wolfric gets in the way.
Reaction, Aura of the Guardian.
Oh shit.
Oh shit, yeah, he actually can just do that!
Yeah, so you take no damage, I take the 40 instead.
Aren't I stronger than you?
No, he got buffed now.
I have 112 hit points.
Okay, well.
You've got a higher constitution modifier than me, probably.
I do. I put my second biggest number into con because it was like I'm not taking hits this time, but I still do.
You do still do.
I take the hits, but I can withstand more of them.
Ewan, your sentinel will also proc off. As another group come to attack the orcish woman who is with you, they are able to get a hit on her, and you can proc off your sentinel.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell them to eat shit. R/1d20 plus 8. 25.
That is a hit.
R/1d12 plus 4. That's 8 points of damage.
As it is now Marcusar's go.
I don't really know what to do.
You should have been
Also, yeah.
thinking.
I was thinking, but then my plan kind of fell apart.
Also, Aura of the Guardian is like the instance that they take damage, but this was 2 attacks and you just gave the damage as a lump sum. So I presume my Aura of the Guardian could just take it as a lump sum. I hope that's okay.
Yes. For these, again, I'm doing it like a lot of cumulative stuff because there's too many numbers. So for things that would usually go for 1 attack, take it as like the 2 attacks I would roll as 1 attack.
Okay, so that will be useful for 2 things. My Aura of the Guardian and my Rebuke the Violent.
Okay, my turn. I'm going to use my new magic item. If that's cool with people.
No, it's not.
Excellent.
You're not allowed to
Oh,
use the magic item I gave you to use.
No fun allowed.
Damn it! Have I not tuned to it yet?
No, you have, Paul. She's messing with you.
Oh fuck. She's the DM, I have to take whatever she says.
No, you don't.
You don't! There is nothing anywhere that says you have to take what I say. Oh, Paul's in no talk, he Angie.
You knew I'd fall for it.
Yes, that's why I did it.
But I would like to cast Arms of Adar, but I would like to change the damage type to fire.
Okay.
Fire tentacles.
Yes.
This is
We're
a
getting
serious tentai.
Craig,
That's-
shut
I was
the
gonna-
fuck up.
I was gonna make a joke about we're getting some muy caliente calamari.
Craig is sitting.
So, where are you positioning them, Paul?
Probably to both these groups that are in my immediate vicinity.
Cool, so I'll give 2 strength saves. a 9 and an 18.
That's against my spell save DC, correct?
Spell save DC, yep.
8. If it matches, is that a pass?
If it matches, it's a pass.
Okay, well, one takes. Hold on, what? I'm gonna cast it at 3rd level. So one takes 4d6 and the other takes half.
Cool, so roll
So
me
I'll-
46.
And the group that failed, that's not high enough. I don't like that.
Oh.
That's disappointing. But the group that failed, they can't take reactions until its next turn. I'm going to say that the ones attacking the orc took the full damage.
Cool. As I need to make a d4 roll. That's not good. 2 d20s. That's also not good. Okay, that's actually slightly better. As coming into the second round of combat, some things have happened at the encampment. Obviously you guys are not very aware of that. And we jump back to the ritual grounds, as I have found a faster way to do the encampment combat because there's too many things there. As top of initiative, at least there, it's Eidolon.
Oh. So I'm unaware of what's happening back at the campsite.
Yep.
Are Ranaagash and the woman running yet? Yes?
Ranaagash seems to be moving back the way, she seems to be moving back the way. Things are good in that sense.
Good. There is still an alive mage question mark in front of me, and I don't like them very much. So I'm going to commit continuous acts of violence against them.
Go for it.
As... Yeah, we'll just make 2 sword attacks and see if it lives those. Not roll 120. I'm sure that would hit, but we don't live in that world.
You've done that before.
I'm assuming 11 misses?
11 misses.
21?
21 will hit.
Essentially trying to stab through, but still getting used to the weight of the boots, stumbling slightly and, you know, just going quite a bit amiss. Before being able to carve up back again, 13 damage. Per chance, how is it looking?
That's
Still
not
pretty good.
math. It's looking slightly worse for wear now.
Cool. Bonus action, flurry of blows against it. Essentially taking the slash up, I like to imagine it knocking itself off its guard a little bit, just moving through with the left hand, just placing it against its chest. 20 plus 8, as that is a 26 and a 14.
26 will, 14 will miss.
Is it worth burning a key point?
That's up to you.
I'm gonna burn one because it's a caster.
What does it put it
That's
to?
a 16.
That'll miss.
Am I committed enough to burn another?
Don't cost fallacy, Craig.
No, I'm not.
Not this time.
That's 21 damage.
Cool. Still up, but again, not looking great.
Should have burned another.
You should have, but you only said you were burning one. As for myself, I then have another group of bad guys to attack Ranaagash, because he's closer. Which would be a 18 and a 23 Ran.
I can't even shield those.
As you take... first attack is 9.
Okay.
As some of them come close and kind of almost lash at you with blades. The second attack is 4 damage, but your maximum
Okay.
HP is also reduced by 4.
Okay, that's fine.
As some more kind of keep to the back, stay a little bit further behind, and you can see them almost wrenching up tendrils from the cracks in their jaws and cracks in their bodies that lash out at you.
I don't like that.
As it is now your go.
Okay. So, I have things on my face, but I would not like to be there. Since I cannot move them, I shall move me. I shall really just gonna... Okay. Tap there looking at my spell sheet. I shall use my last second level spell slot to cast Misty Step for the full 30 feet down.
You
I'm not sure how.
you technically go off the map. So
Yeah, that's why.
we'll put you over
Well,
here. For, we'll put you over here for now, Ran.
Yeah.
Ranaagash?
I'm just. out of this plane of existence, and then okay? So another scale in terms of targets is weird. Is a scale in terms of distance weird as well?
So if you're going like square wise, rather than a square being 5 feet, take it as being 15 feet if you're thinking of distance for spells.
15 feet. Right. That makes life a lot easier. Because that means, let's see, so every square is worth 3 times as much. So yeah, that's actually if that goes on really fast. 5-foot radius is like it means I can catch all 3 with a fireball. Which two groups look the most like they're having a bad day?
The 2 that were attacking you and Dalarash, the ones that she chain lightninged.
Right. Let's finish them off with a 3rd level. Again. Dex saves, please.
14 and 15.
They both fail. Excellent. Now I get to roll big.
You get to roll the haha funny wizard spell.
It's been a while since I've cast a haha funny wizard spell. That's kind of disappointing.
That's a very disappointing haha funny wizard spell.
That is a very disappointing haha funny wizard spell.
It's like slit just below average, I think.
I enjoy that we're calling it the half funny wizard spell.
As both looks
Haha, funny wizard spell. I did say it, so we all did.
as the both groups, whilst looking very toasty from your flames, both look, whilst injured, okay. You can see some body parts are falling off of some of them, and others are moving relatively sluggishly, but as a group they are still quite a powerful unit. As Eidolon,
Hi.
you watch as this thing does something you've never really seen a blighted creature do before.
Not bleeding sentences with that. Does it speak?
Kind of. It speaks very gutturally. It speaks, at least for Ranaagash and Dalarash, who are still kind of there in the background, the very loud, almost monotone groans that the two of you can hear don't formulate words, but for Eidolon, who has an understanding of deep speech, you can at least make out, or at least translate basically what it says, as it almost commands the 3 groups that are nearby, or at least 2 of them, as the mist that it's emitting reaches out towards them, commands them to fight on. Where you watch as the mist starts to stitch their injuries back together again.
Fucker, it's a healer.
Oh, fuck off.
Which puts that one up by...
Hopefully that's its action. That'll be kind of neat.
That is its action, yes.
Fuck yeah. And it didn't heal itself, so...
It did not.
Fuck it up.
As
I'll have to
Dalarash moves away and continues to move, is I need to look up the save for another spell. And I also need to do the radius, because if the radius is too much, he's not gonna use it.
I can assist if you give me the name.
No, it's good, I've got it here. 20 foot
Don't
centered
hit
on
me,
a
just
range.
fucking use it.
So 40 foot would be... Oh! She can do it on the same 2 that Ran did. And it will last for 10 minutes. So... Oh, just a minute. I thought it was 10 minutes. That's slightly more disappointing. But it will move, so you might have to care for it in a little bit, Eidolon. As that's 1 pass, 1 fail.
Storm Sphere?
Not quite. As some more damage, which puts that group is dead, and that group is not so dead. Almost dead though. As you watch as Dalarash kind of almost conjures a fireball similar to yourself, Ranaagash, though rather than shooting it out and letting it disperse and explode, she crushes it in her hands and casts the mist outwards, as an incendiary cloud appears between the 2 groups, and this very, very hot air that almost seems to ignite anything it touches just starts moving and spreading from that point, incinerating one of the groups and very toasting another, as it will continue to spread for a little while as the wind will start to disperse it. So this one is gone. This one's still here, and this one's still here. So that can't move, so it'll move towards the only thing that it can eat, which is Eidolon. And then this one will attack Eidolon.
Go ahead.
A 23 and a 19.
23 hits, 19 misses, as I'll shield.
As
We'll grab the arm of whatever would hit me, and essentially what I like to imagine is just toss it, but almost the sort of like martial flip where you literally just spin the person around.
as you take 9 damage.
What type?
This is piercing or slashing.
Any additional damage?
Nope. The one that would deal additional damage does not. It's the one that missed you.
How much damage is that? Can you repeat yourself?
9 damage. Just 9.
I'm one off the sex number, and that's like deeply upsetting.
If you want, I can make it 10 damage.
No, I'm good.
As leaving you guys in the ritual grounds, we jump back to the hunting grounds, where you two boys have allies.
Let's go.
As these little grey dots, again representing Orcish allies from my boys who can kind of see my rough map going on in the background, they are able there to join the fray and join the fight. Where I have this group of 2 who are going to go and attack this group, where you see the half-orc with the long bow, or the kind of rudimentary, almost triple bow, and the more slender orc, female orc that you saw, the younger sister. She is also there, going to attack this group, as they have a +6 to hit on their attacks, and she makes 5 and he makes 2.
It's a lot of attacks.
It is a lot of attacks.
Poggers.
He will hit 1, miss another, which deals 15 damage. As they go in, quite a almost skilled pair. You see that she is a lot lighter with her weaponry, a lot faster. Some of the attacks she makes you can't even see her make, as well as him. Even though he's in close quarters with a bow and arrow, it seems that he is precise as if he would be at range, being able to almost pot shot some of these groups. However, Marcusar, you are going to get attacked.
Let's go.
1 will miss you on a 9, but I'm assuming a 23 will hit you.
Oh, just.
As the kind of slashes you are able to get out of the way of. At least you're able to dodge, though you end up stepping into more of these tendril attacks, where you take 8 damage, and your maximum HP is reduced by 8.
Okay.
Where the group attempts to attack the half-orc again, or the half-orc, the full-orc woman again. One of those attacks will hit, so your sentinel will proc again as well, Ewan. She will take another 10 damage.
27.
That will hit.
14 points of damage.
That's better.
Radiant damage.
As the 2 of you are almost fighting as a duo at this point as well.
Wait, is it the second? What attack procced the sentinel? Would have been the first one.
It would have been the second attack.
Oh, the second attack hit. I'd like to imagine that that what happened was, as the creature lunged forward to hit Marcusar, Wolfric raised his axe over his head and just sunk it into the thing's skull.
That's nice.
For these boys, the kind of group of 3 or more bulkier orcs who are going to come and give you a hand, Marcusar.
Cool.
Which I feel was appreciated.
Also, I feel like this is my personal belief, and M can back up whether she believes it or not, but you know the axe that Wolfric wields?
Mm-hmm.
I think that because it's taking not only the way that he fights, but also the fact that he was formerly a lumberjack into account, and the sword, the axe, it doesn't physically move, but it oscillates like a chainsaw.
Oh.
Yeah,
But
I like that idea.
Instead of teeth, it's like a corona of light.
That's pretty cool.
That's stellar. That's just stellar.
63. As the group that's now in front of you, Marcusar, isn't looking too great at all, thanks to these 3 men.
Cool.
As that would be 2 hits on him. which puts him at 18 and puts her at 10. Then for yourself, Wolfric, a 18 and a 23 to hit.
Both hit.
As you take, one of this will be halved for you, so I'll do the non-halved first, as you take 10 damage as one group starts to wail on you. However, rather than taking the 8 damage, because you're resistant, you take 4 damage, so your maximum health is only reduced by 4, as more of these tendrils seem to lash out from every orifice and crack that these creatures have to attack you.
That's not a pleasant image.
You can thank Craig.
What do I do when it's my favourite aesthetic?
As I know I'm on there.
Craig, how much Lovecraft have you read?
None. Not a single part of it.
That's fucking surprising.
These people that way.
I mean, to be fair, if he read Lovecraft, there'd be more fish people.
Yeah.
I'm doing fish
Actually,
people next
he's doing
campaign.
fish people next campaign, so...
So 2 halves of love. It's just a Lovecraft divided.
We get there.
Marcusar, you go first because you're first initiative, and then Wolfric.
Okay. So I dealt like some fire damage to these blighted creatures on my
Yep.
last turn. But I would like any sort of like flame or cinder that is still upon them. I would like to form into a flaming sphere in their place.
Okay.
Which they have to make a dexterity saving throw. Am I able to position the sphere in a way that would I only get one group with a 5-foot sphere?
If you centered it between them, you'd be able to get both of them.
Can I center it between them both, and then they both make dex saves?
Yep. One of them is a 15 and the other's a 13.
Both fail, so they both take. What level do I want to cast that at? Fuck it, let's do 3rd level since they both take 3d6. Both take 14 points of damage.
14 points of damage, which is 60 and 77. Do you do anything else, Marcusar?
I'm not sure if I can do this in the same turn. Hold on. This group that's fighting on the other side of Wolfric, can I use my bonus action to move it into their space?
What is it to cast Flaming Sphere?
An action.
Cast it, but then as a bonus action I can move it up to 30 feet.
Yeah, you'd be able to do that on the same turn. Unless I'm wrong.
I don't read anything that says otherwise, unless Em has a ruling.
Nope. So it makes a
Okay.
saving throw as you're ramming against it. Nat 1. Roll me damage and double it.
Yeah, as a bonus action, if you round the sphere into a creature, that creature must make a saving throw against the sphere's damage. Which it... let's go another 3d6. That's not as good, they take, well, 14 damage as well.
As Wolfric.
Right, let's go. I'm gonna attack the nearest one, swinging my axe. Yeah, I'm gonna attack the one that I sunk my axe into, driving it even further into the wound. 16.
That will not hit.
Okay.
Wolfric has a fucking holy chainsaw, and I can't get that out of my head now.
Next hit. Natural 20.
That will hit.
That is, I reroll 1s and 2s. I have to take the new number, so that's still 6. Doubled 12. I roll my d8. 4 doubled 8. I'm going to make this a 2nd level Divine Smite, so that is 4d8.
Fuck him up.
Reroll 1s and 2s.
Oh, fuck him up!
So that's 16, 26, doubled, 52.
Spicy.
The second one misses, the first one misses the mark, second one axe into the wound and just goes, brings it straight down and bisects him front to back rather than side to side.
Good man.
but because of how anatomy works, it stops at the legs. So basically, the legs are complete, but the body goes. My
As
favorite-
for Wolfric and Marcusar, as you guys are fighting with these orcs, you notice that coming from the tree line is another group of enemies. Though they do not look as well armoured and appear to be more peasanty in their origins, but nonetheless, still as dangerous.
Okay.
They're all being the cannon fodder.
And for Eidolon, and obviously Ranaagash and Dalarash, you also see another group appear.
I just remembered something. Sorry, I've been a big doo-doo head. You know the monster that attacked Marcusar?
Extra D8.
Takes an extra 5 points of radiant damage. I had not been factoring in improved divine smite.
I did all my background stuff because I forgot about my boys. And Eidolon, Ranaagash. Eidolon, you be top.
It's actually our turns now, yes?
It is, yes.
Not missing anyone?
I've worked out what I did to forget about Ewan and Wolfric as well. Ewan and Paul.
I am almost exclusively trying to kill this caster.
Yes.
Because these are just regular groups. I want to get joining with Ranaagash and Dalarash. That's strange, it's just 2 ashes. As quickly as possible.
It's a very common naming
so
scheme for orcs.
I'm going to make 1 sword attack. As that is a 28.
That will hit.
So this puts it down. 15 damage.
Not quite.
I'm essentially carving around, taking just a side step around them, taking the blade and just stabbing it into the essentially side back of them. And then I'm going to try a punch because I know I need that to kill it. That's an 18.
Mhm.
Should have burned that extra key point because that means that last attack would have hit. Fuck it. As
Insight
our
check,
empowered
really.
arms, as a few of the tendrils will leave out the wing, though the wing itself this time will not fully come down, as that was only for the first ever punch I did with it. As that's 21 force damage.
Oh, that's satisfying.
Is it dead?
Yeah, with nothing like overlap and nothing to spare, that's really satisfying.
Did have 21 hit points.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I said you take the step round, take the blade so that the blade's coming down that way, stab it into the back, then take the fist and just punch it in the back of the neck. But since it's force damage, bitch ain't coming back. As bonus action, these guys are all surrounding me, yes? Well, actually no, only one of them's actually on me.
Yes.
Yeah, I am just going to use all my 50 feet of movement to run after Ranaagash and Dalarash, so 1 attack of opportunity against me. Or, yeah, 1.
24.
3, I don't know. Yeah, that hits.
So you would take 10 nope, wrong cheat sheet. 9 points of damage.
What type?
Non-magical, so bludgeoning, piercing, slashing.
You need to keep me aware.
I know, I have the colours on the sheet that denote damage types.
Why I ask.
I tried to make things easier for myself and I just confused myself further. As I need to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3. Lots of dice.
As should I move myself off the map?
Yep, move yourself off the map. Okay, so that's not as good of a round from these guys. As only 2 of her 5, no, 3 of her 5 hit actually, so that's slightly better than I thought it would be. That is 24 points of damage. So the group they're still fighting is still up, and the group then attacks them. As the 2 orcs that are fighting the kind of 2 groups quite far away, they are taking quite a bit of damage. They still look alright, and the group that they are fighting is very much weakened. You can even see some bodies on the floor, but taking it alone is taking its toll. As it's one of these guys go, I'll separate them so that I don't forget about my boys yet. Which is 17 times 2, which would be 34. So, Paul, these guys have gone from in front of you. As you see, one of the orcs essentially almost goes slightly more berserk, kind of sees red, that style of thing, running in, charging, and just hacking and slashing at as many of these bodies as he can, hoping to bring them down. As it's now your go, Marcusar.
Okay, I'm going to. I'm trying to read. If I just keep the flaming sphere where I do they just continue to take that damage?
As long as they're inside the sphere.
As long as they're inside the sphere at the end of their turn, yes.
I'll give this group of yellow off near the back, who aren't harming anyone right now, but they will. I'll move it over to them
So
if they're within 30 feet of myself. Actually, that's a good point. Wait, the range is 60 feet, but I can move it up to 30 feet. Okay. Are
yeah,
they within
from
60
from
feet?
its point of origin. Yes, they are.
Okay, so sort of just
And
firebend the fucking sphere around and hit it.
they also fail their strength save on a 10.
Okay, so is that just... Does the damage just keep going as before, or is it...
Reroll for every new group.
Okay, sure. Still 3d6. That's nice. Some 15 damage for them. That was only a bonus action, so I still have the main action.
And what are you doing with that?
Can't really break concentration, so I will just move to this group that's next to Wolfric and swipe at them with my sickle.
Give me an attack roll.
That is plus 7. A 16.
That will miss.
Oh well. Turn over.
As these things seem to be a lot more adapted than you're used to from blights.
Yeah. Well, they seem, like you said, they were watchmen and iron dragons.
Yep, they are a lot more skilled.
Yeah.
As you hear the group, the kind of more, I guess, fighter style orcs bark something in Orcish as they start making their way essentially away from the hunting grounds towards the encampment. As Wolfric, sure go.
Right, let's go. Alright, so I'll take this one here, attack it. Just simply wading through the cannon fodder.
The 20 will obviously hit, and then damage 16.
16.
Which puts them through. They're looking pretty
Another-
alright. That's another hit. That's better damage.
Spicy.
21 total.
They're looking a little bit rougher as you kind of cut through them,
End my turn there.
thinning their
Just like-
ranks.
Cutting swath into it as hard as I can.
As the orcs again kind of almost retreating further back towards the camp. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 attacking on them. That's not fun. That one's 60. As again the two at the top are definitely looking worse for wear at this point, as the other group kind of starts retreating back with the others. I'm only going to roll 1 dice for this. Positives are occurring there. As Eidolon,
Hello.
do you start running back towards the camp?
Yeah. I will take the dash action, which I would not be surprised if that lets me catch up with Ranaagash and Dalarash, as that makes my movement speed 100.
It would, if not a little bit further than them.
When I get to them, what do I see?
So you would be able to succeed them about 40 feet, which would put you at the entrance towards the encampment. As when you kind of get into the encampment, Craig, you kind of start branching through the trees and you can start seeing it more clearly. There are a lot of bodies already. Not too far in front of you, you can see Shotha kind of almost creating a ward around the camp that when you step into it does seem to invigorate you slightly, though you can feel the blight on your arm fighting against it.
Owie, ouchie.
Whilst you're in the range of the encampment, you have a +1 to your saving throws. So,
Fuck yeah.
all saves. You can see that not too far away from her are 2 of the acolytes from the healer's tent, though there would have been a third, though there is a young girl that is dead on the ground, where Bartak is very vehemently beating the shit out of the people trying to eat her.
Do I recognize?
You don't recognise her, no.
Which color is the Healy Elder?
The Healy Elder is another purple dot at the centre of camp. You have the 2 light coloured purples, which are her 2 acolytes. You can obviously see Bartak. You have 2 allied orcs helping you. You can see amongst these peasanty ones that you were fighting, so the yellow dots on the map for my boys, there are also a lot more well armoured, and amongst them you can even see some of the garb of watchmen fighting and moving into the camp. You can see another one of these casters at the far end. You can just see this black smoke emitting from them, hence you know they're there, even though they're just a little bit out of your sight. And getting towards the hunter's tent, probably awkward if he shows up at any point, you can also see an elf.
What, here?
Mm-hmm. The blue dot.
Awake?
Mm-hmm.
Doing?
Mm-hmm.
No, doing what?
By the looks of things, casting magic.
Helping us?
Looks like it.
Okay. So this person is here and this is the healer, yes?
Yep.
Cool, I'm going to burn a key point for bonus action. 50 more feet. Well, actually no, that would have increased my movement speed to 200, so 100 extra feet. I'm assuming I can get into camp with that amount of speed?
Yeah, you could probably get to just in front of her with that.
Oh, that would be my plan. With that kind of speed, and because that also doubles my jump height, I will literally just, instead of running around her, just essentially take the step down, lean into it, jump over her, and land in front of her. Back turned facing the caster.
As they're gone. So Dalarash would move into camp. Obviously not really be able to do very much at the moment. Ranaagash.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? You moving?
Where am I?
You could move to be about here.
Okay.
You can't move much further though.
That's fair. So I still have my whole turn just without the move.
Yes.
Okay.
So like if you want to set up a spell, for example, like your minute meteors, you can take the turn to obviously do that.
I don't have direct line of sight to do this. I do not like the idea of doing that. Just aesthetically, I know mechanically, not backfire, but just. So I think I will take your suggestion and do the meteors, because just to spice things up, and also they have a stupid range. They do have a stupid range. How far is 120 feet on this map? It's not very. Okay. Okay, that's. I can do what I need to do. So, what level is it? It is 3rd. So let's keep it 3rd for now. And I have 6. Okay. Again. So as a bonus action, blah blah blah. When you cast a spell, and as a bonus action, you take your turns. Okay, so casting the spell is an action in and of itself, and as part of the action to cast the spell, I should drop a meteor next to these 2 guys at the bottom.
Okay.
And then I cannot hit both of the ones on the left without also hitting the orcs, so I shall prioritize the orange. So like there, there. That's in range.
Mm-hmm.
It's just slightly out, but that's fine. And what is it? Dex saves. Yes, so I need.
So yeah.
I need dex saves. Yes.
23, 17, and a nat 1.
Okay. Surprisingly, only the nat 1 fails. So let me do this. 2d6, 2d6, and 20. You can roll 22 halves. Shall we find out?
I mean, if anyone's going to make roll 22 halves, it'll be you.
Let's see if I break this. It does not break. There's probably a way. There's probably a way you can get it to round. So yeah, that's a 3, and 14 for that. And as a bonus action on my turn, I will just drop another 2 meteors into the exact same. So I need more dex saves.
21, 21, 21.
Okay. That's... You're no fun.
My dice liked 17 this roll. What can I say?
I've already said that makes it easy because I just have to copy paste the half 3 times. 4, 5, and 4.
So, there you
That's, I'm concentrating. I've expended 4 meteors and a 3rd level spells.
it's a start.
Excellent. There we go. That's me sorted.
As Wulfric and Marcusar, the orcs seem to be retreating. As you watch as this group, so the group at the top, split off, as the younger girl of the two of them, the kind of gent with the longbow, stays behind. You watch as the group takes an opportunity attack, gets in the way. Ouch. Double ouch. And dies.
Oh. Oof.
Who just died?
So the half-orc hunter, kind of wielding the improvised longbow, is dead. He kind of almost steps in the way of this young female, and as she's essentially running away to avoid her obviously getting a hit of opportunity attack, he just stands in the way, and you watch as quite quickly he is taken down, and the bodies just pile on top of him, and he doesn't get back out.
Matthew is experiencing what Ewan experienced all at once in Kinrain.
Now that he's dead, can I ask his name?
Cressel.
I thought it was him. I had a feeling it was him. But no.
You seem really
Okay.
cut up about it.
I'm glad that I figured out an NPC. Just from the description.
Glad I knew who you were as you were dying.
Yeah.
As these guys will disappear off map and technically appear up here for you guys, and she will also disappear off map and appear up here for you guys. As Marcusar.
Okay. I think I'll say to Wulfric, I think it's time to retreat, as I move the flaming sphere to the group that's directly in front of us, and then probably after that try and turn and run.
Okay, so the group that's
Move.
directly in front of you will fail their strength save on a 14. And if I'm wrong, you have a pitiful spell save DC.
Sorry?
If I'm wrong that they pass on a 14, your
My spell save DC. My spell save DC is an 18, but I'm reading the thing and it says I have to a strength saving throw against this sphere's damage.
Just do it against your spell save DC.
Okay, fair enough.
Mostly because I can't remember what the damage of the original sphere was.
No worries. Well, the group in front of us takes a nice 14 damage.
They also would have passed if it was that.
Yeah.
Which is...
We take those.
as the group is still up, not looking great, but is still functioning.
That was just my bonus action, so in an action I'll swipe at them with my sickle.
Give me an attack roll.
Cool.
Nope.
Not good.
As you almost stumble and fall into the group themselves.
Oh no. Wulfric, save me.
It's not
No.
really how that works.
Oh no, the humanity.
They're preoccupied. They'll move. Wulfric, it's your go.
Right.
I thought we could outrun them. Now they've caught up to us.
Okay. Right, I'm gonna try something. Let me get a funny cube. Funny cube. Okay, I'm gonna cast on the three here.
Mm-hmm.
Get them in the cube. Cast hypnotic pattern.
We haven't seen this spell in a while.
I believe it is a charisma saving throw.
It is wisdom.
I can never forget if it's wisdom or charisma. I usually presume it's charisma because it's a charm effect.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because it's like, it is a... Although in saying that, it's not enchantment, it's illusion. Which would be a... I'm assuming a fail on all of them, with the highest being a 15.
All of those ones are charmed.
Which means no attacking.
Wolfrick's gonna start from which direction is the encampment?
Down.
South.
South.
Okay, so I'm running this way.
Yeah, I didn't move mine, but like, I ran after my failed attack. Or did I stumble so I'm still here? Did I fall down with that nat one?
You fell with your nat 1.
Okay, so I need to get up.
So they are charmed, which is fine.
I'll run, taking that copy from the one that isn't in the cube.
Which is a 19.
That hits.
As you take 10 damage.
Ulfric starts to haul ass towards the camp.
As now I have to start moving stuff in the camp, which is not as fun. As I have done some math, I've done some moving. Nothing is dead. As Eidolon.
That's unpoggers.
So is that caster moving at all, or does the caster seem to be creating this mist?
The caster seems to be generating a mist. You don't know if they are preparing something or not, however.
I'd firstly turn back to the healer just to make sure. Are you alright?
I am. The camp less so.
Make sure you stay alright so you can keep them as best as you can. As I will move towards this caster and start this funning game again. As I am going to make attacks, surprisingly.
You make those attacks, Craig.
As that's a 15. That'll be a miss.
Miss.
25.
Hit.
And 14. So that's a miss. That's one hit. As that is 24 points of magical slashing damage. As essentially just move in, try stab forward, miss, take it back around, slash across and attempt to punch forward, but actually probably does make impact, but just doesn't leave any mark. Maybe just knocking it back ever so slightly more than anything else.
As next in unique initiative is Ranaagash.
Okay. So, I can see the Bartak is not having a great time, and I would like to assist. So, let's move. Let me just double check my movements here. That is 10 feet, which is actually 30 feet if my scale is still holding up in my head.
It is, yes.
Excellent. Then I shall take my 2 runestones that I've been using to do all my fire currently. Basically just bring them together and use the sparks that come off them to generate a chain lightning.
Chain lightning.
I get to
Chain
cast
lightning?
I get to cast the big boy spells. I'm going to target the 3 yellow ones near Bartak.
Dex saves.
Yes, triple deck save if you please.
17, 12, and 7.
1 pass, 2 fails. Let me just check the damage because it is a lot of damage.
It's 10d8.
It is indeed.
That's a lot of damage.
It's a big boy spell.
Yeah, it's 6th level, so 54 half to 27 for the pass. Is it half? It is half. And that is my 6th level slot, which I've already moved off. Excellent. And then with my bonus action, if that is a bonus action, because I always need to check. And as a bonus action, I will drop my last 2 meteors. Let's help out Eidolon. Let's just drop them behind the caster.
Thank you.
Dex save again, yes?
Yeah. Actually 2, I think, because they're done separately.
Nat 1 and 6.
1, and so that's a fail and a mega fail. So that's, I need to get my non-half to 2d6. Copy. I'll throw in a cheeky ×2 for that one. But 1? Actually, yeah, do it like that. That's disappointing.
Is that it all?
Yeah.
That is disappointing. That's really disappointing, in fact.
Let's move action, bonus action. Yeah. I suppose I made up for it with 3 8s, but yeah.
As the next one, or the next unique one in combat order would be Bartak, who's not very happy right now. 3, 4. That's actually disgraceful. I rolled 4d6. I rolled 3 1s. That's actually disgraceful.
Is this on an enemy attack, or?
No, this is on Bartak's damage.
Oh.
It's actually fucking disgraceful. 3, 6, 9, 12, plus 8 is 20. Just shocking. Even he doesn't look happy with that damage.
Well, why would you?
Is the next unique one on the list is him. 60-foot radius. 30. Okay, so it's not quite there, but it is Ranaagash. And then 30 and Dalarash and Shotha as well, which is not great. As Ranaagash, Eidolon, I need you to make me Constitution saving throws. And then I need to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11,
That's a
12.
22.
I might do a smart thing here and burn a portent. And while I'm looking at my portents, I didn't get myself my portent.
It's a 4.
Okay.
2,
So I shall.
6, 8, 10.
I never came up with a good word for messing them about. So 113 down and 113 up by 4.
13 down, which puts it to a 9.
A 9 and a 17, and then I'm gonna burn the 17, 8, 19.
What's to make sure you pass?
Yes.
As I need to roll lots of dice to see who else passes. As you two pass, which is positive. So
Is that damage or no damage?
I think it's half damage. It's half damage.
Can I ask what type?
For radiant.
Perfect. And out.
So fail, fail, pass, pass, pass. Okay, so we'll go important ones. Shotha, Bartak, the priestess. Pass, fail, 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 pass. And then 2 enemies pass, the rest fail, and 2 doubly fail. I don't have enough d6.
Who's casting this?
You'll find out in a second. Hush your mouth. 27, 30, 35, 38, 42. Okay. As the 2 of you both pass, so you take 21 radiant damage.
Very glad I passed.
And then I gotta kill some things. Which is 75. Ouch! That's a lot of damage. Oh, and I forgot about these guys who also failed. As for, well, even Marcusar at this point, you won't really know what's happening, but you'll be able to see the effects of it.
Oh.
As from the kind of southeast side of camp, where kind of Bartak and that group are, Eidolon, Ranaagash, Wolfric, you'll be able to see a almost blinding light that starts emanating in a dome, getting bigger and bigger and bigger, almost dispelling in an instant before it reaches the majority of the camp. Wolfric, you're just on the edge of it, so you are not blinded and not damaged by this radiant holy light that seems to just burn away the mist and smoke. As for Eidolon and Ranaagash, as well as Bartak and a few others, who, when the light clears, are very charred bodies, as the holy light kind of essentially bathes them. The 2 of you were caught in a sunburst.
From whom?
You're not too sure, Eidolon, as you're kind of got the stakes in the way, but there's only really one person from that area who might be able to cast magic. You're not too sure on their abilities, but it's the might. Ranaagash, it was centered from the hunting tents.
That's my dad.
As Marcusar, speaking of yourself, you're still in the hunting grounds on your own with the young orc woman.
Yes. I'm on the ground, correct?
Yes. Well, you're stumbling, not quite on the ground.
Okay. So, would I lose any movement in getting up?
Nope.
Okay.
It's the aesthetic of the Nat 1.
Yeah. Would me running away right now provoke an opportunity attack?
Yes. Only one, though.
Can I back away? Flailing a sickle to keep them away.
You can disengage.
You could use your action to disengage.
That's a thing.
Yes.
I call to the other orc who's like retreat to the camp and I'll disengage.
And then run away.
has my... It's been has it been a minute since I cast Flaming Sphere?
No.
Ewan, tell me, what does damaging someone who is charmed do? Does that break the charm?
It breaks
Breaks the charm.
Okay, can I just... I'll keep the sphere on the group that are right next to me, so hopefully they'll have to take some damage at the end of their turn. Unless they move out of it. Which they probably will. So yeah, disengage and retreat back to camp.
Cool.
Hopefully with the orc in tow.
I will pop you on the map. As she will
Cool.
run off as well. But these things are all going to be moving soon too. Dun, dun, dun.
I don't have I can't see the full screen where I'm zoomed in, but I keep moving around and it's like, oh wait, there's all these dots off to the side. I hope they don't come into play.
We'll see. As I need to keep track of that, I get to cry some more, as I get to introduce a new colour to the map. As my boys, there is now a new dot on the map for you, as we bring to the top of initiative order with the 4 of you all in the encampment. As the sunburst, this beam of light disappears, Marcusar, you and the young orc woman kind of break the trees from the hunting grounds and start running back into the camp, where a roar shakes the trees. And bursting through the beam of light and bursting through Shotha's barrier is granted a smaller, but still, a blighted dragon, one of these Northul, as it curls up and stands in camp, where for my boys now, I forgot to say to Ranaagash, whilst he was in it as well, whilst you remain in camp, you guys actually have a +2 to all your saving throws. Eidolon only gets Eidolon only gets a +1 because he's infected. And actually infected.
Right, that's fine. I passed anyway, the one saving throw I've had to make, so it's fine.
That's why I've kind of waited till now to blurt it, because you passed anyway for the previous save.
Yeah.
I would have been more annoyed with myself if you had failed. As Eidolon, you are top of this order.
After that sunburst, how does this mage in front of me look?
Not great, is the long and short of it.
Like a good punch away from death?
Probably more than that.
Let's just see what we can do. As I'll just raise up the sword, seeing the Northul, giving more of a sigh of exasperation than anger, just like we didn't have enough to deal with. Does a 26 hit the guy in front of me?
Yes. Let's make it bigger.
That's 12 slashing damage.
Still up.
And she just slash down, raise it back again, try to slash down. That is damage instead of... Shit. Wait, no. I meant to go back twice and I only went back once.
It's a lot of dice tonight. My brain is already breaking.
23.
That will also hit.
That is 21 slashing damage. How alive is he?
Dead.
Yes. So essentially take the sword, slash down, take it up again, slash down to form an X on the chest, and then... All the things in here don't seem to be rising, do they?
Not really. You reckon, at least for your own own expertise, or your own knowledge, it doesn't appear that
Mist is here.
Even though the mist is here, it's only in isolated circumstances and it's not strong enough to give them life. Though now that a Northul is here, that might start changing.
Cool. Do I need to use an attack just to make sure this thing stays dead on the ground?
That's up to yourself. That's up to Eidolon's own consciousness.
No, I'm asking mechanics. Do I need to expend the bonus action to punch it whilst it's dead on the ground? Or can I just do that as an aesthetic and save my punch for the giant fucking dragon?
You can do it as an aesthetic and save your punch for the giant fucking dragon.
Cool. As it would be then is create the X, and then some of the blight from the wing would almost coil around his foot as he just raises up his left boot and just kicks the thing over. As turning around, I'm going to run towards the dragon, jumping over, essentially climbing up the post because it's part of my movement, and jumping over it. Actually, how tall are the posts?
Probably about 45 feet.
Damn, that's a tall post.
Like, it's proper wedged tree trunks that have been staked and tied into the ground.
40 foot, you say? So, could I, with my movement, get on top of the posts, and then with my increased height, jump from the post onto the dragon?
Yes, because that sounds cool.
Yes! As essentially, Ranaagash, you would see it. Eidolon clicks over this mage, turns back around, runs. Sadly, I apologise to whoever's tent this was. To make up the movement, I have to run through this person's tent. As he would run straight vertical up the post. Landing, taking the foot on top of the post and then using it as leverage just to jump and land on top of the dragon. As landing on top, essentially as he jumps through the air, letting tendrils essentially come off from his left arm, and as he lands, I'm just going to try to stab multiple in them into the dragon as I land on its back. As that's 2 additional attacks my bonus action. As that's a 27 and a 22.
Both will hit.
Cool. Key is not supposed to be at 65 right now. What did I do? There we go. Supposed to be a 5. As I will roll this as lump sum with the empowered arms coming into play, so some of the tendrils coming from the wings. That is... It takes 31 force damage.
Ouch.
Spicy.
As I essentially land on it, placing my hand as I'm essentially using the momentum to stab it in, pushing... I'm just going to say a tendril per d8, so that's 5 tendrils in its back. Yeah, Ranaagash, who lived in this tent? Who do I have to apologise to?
Good question.
I don't know, I didn't really give the miscellaneous orcs tents. I just gave Ranaagash's dad a tent.
Well, whoever it is, you better hope they're still alive to be apologised to.
Or maybe I should hope that they're one of the few who are dead, so that I don't need to.
Morbid Craig. As Ranaagash.
Okay. There is a big dragon next to me.
Yeah, pretty close to you.
That to not be the case. So, let's fix both of those problems. First of all, it is close to me. I'm gonna move skedaddle 30 feet this way. And other problem, there is a dragon. So,
Problem the second. There's a dragon.
yes. So,
Let's say hypothetically.
There is a dragon.
don't start. Right. My action, I shall upcast Scorching Ray to 3rd level. Gives me 4. Yes.
4th level Scorching Ray?
Yes,
Should be
4th level.
5. Yeah?
Is it?
'Cause isn't it? Yeah.
Third? No, wait. It's 2nd level at 3. So 3rd level is 4. So 4 is Dex, and is it Dex? It's spell attack. You'd think I'd know this, given that I'd cast it this combat.
And many combats prior.
Yes. That's the best as well. How many of those hit? I'm guessing 3.
3, yes. All but 1.
Okay. And it is 2d6, so let's just make it easy because it's a 1 target. It'll cost 6d6. It's 18 fire damage. How's it looking?
Pretty alright.
Okay, let's fix that. And so rather than letting the fireballs dissipate, gonna take them, sort of collate them together and just have that ensheath the entire dragon as I use 2 more charges of the ring to cast Immolate as a bonus action. We get the damage on this.
Ouch.
Because it does not get a save, it gets a 4.
Important!
Yeah, baby.
It gets a 4, which puts it at 8.
Mm-hmm.
That's promising.
Or it's Immolation, sorry, not Immolate.
Oh, now it's just on fire!
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
So,
so are you, Eidolon.
No, I'm not. I'm on its back.
That's true, actually, yeah.
I can dance around the flames.
so there's the initial damage.
Fire!
Mm-hmm.
Spicy.
At every turn it has to repeat the saving throw and it takes damage. So it's look up I did at the 3rd level.
You also have a 9 as well, so if you want to make it fail the save at some point, that's also an option.
Mm-hmm.
Failing for as long as possible.
Marcusar.
Yes.
Sure go.
Where's Marcusar? Oh, there he is.
Yeah. Am I in the camp now? Like just
Yeah.
on the edge here.
You're on the edge. You can get to, if you use your movement, probably the front of Bartak's tent.
That's fair. Can't really do much. Can I get into a position where I can see the dragon?
I mean, it's a big dragon, you can see it from where you are. It's just very, very far away.
Okay. Let me do a quick. because I always forget the specifics of this. But I wish to cast. What's the range? Am I 90 feet within? Am I within 90 feet of the dragon?
No.
Damn it. Well, let's fucking these two groups that are right next to me fighting this grey group.
Words. They are fighting
Oh,
a group of orcs.
Yes. Are they within 60 feet of me?
Yes.
Okay,
The
I
yellow
shall
one
cast
is.
The yellow one is. Could I cast a flaming sphere behind it so it catches this orange group as well, or can I only target the yellow one?
Nope, you'll be able to just target the two of them.
Okay, great. Whilst avoiding the orcs, right?
Yes.
Cool. I would like to cast flaming sphere again, but I shall do so at a higher level.
What is your higher level cast of flaming spear? Spear?
Fourth
Spear.
level.
Fourth
Fourth
level.
level, so an extra d6 on that.
Is a 13 and a 9.
Both fail the spell DC. Each group takes 18 points of damage. And just because that's what the rule says, and I'd feel bad if it was any different. Actually, the 18 matches my spell save DC, so yeah. If I move it again, and it's a strength save, they have to be 18.
And now you're making me remember more numbers, Paul.
It's fine. It's fine. It's lucky that the 18 matches my spell save DC, so they just have to beat my spell save DC.
I was making it easier for myself.
Okay, fair enough. Whatever's
Roll-
easiest for you.
Roll fucking.
I'm being a rules lawyer. I never
You
get to do that.
are.
Yeah.
Is Matthew's doing some form of math in his head?
Yeah. I mean, you benefit from it being your spell save DC on average.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
I feel like I'm cheating.
How are you looking damage-wise, Ranaagash?
You mean like health?
Yeah.
We're halfway there.
Oh,
Health and
Yeah.
living on a prayer.
Technically slightly less, but obviously I have to just health myself at the moment.
Okay, so
Yeah, I think currently you're on higher health than I am if you're about halfway there.
I mean, my total's only like 64 grade.
Yeah, and I'm in the 30s.
I'm on 30.
Ah.
5, 10.
I know which spell I'm casting next.
As Ranaagash, it's not a lot, but you get 14 health back.
That's great.
As the acolyte that is standing next to you, one of the more older acolytes of Shotha's kind of coven, kind of places a hand on you, very concerned for your well-being as well as everything else that's going on, and the big fuck-off dragon that's now in front of her. As she gives you a prayer, gives you a blessing, and is able to heal some of your wounds. These guys are going to try and clear off this group. Only one of those will hit, and they do 17 damage. They're dead. Wolfric.
I'm gonna get as close as I can to the dragon.
So dashing,
Yes.
you can get about there.
Alright.
You've got probably another dash to get there to it.
Unless it moves closer.
Unless it moves closer, that is true. It is on fire and does have Eidolon in its back. So, as 40, so that's fucking better damage, Bartak.
That's the Bartak we like to see. It's the one we know and love.
The dragon's still alive, but it's not looking fucking great anymore. As that group is gone, and these guys are then going to use their movement to attempt to start dealing with the dragon. 20-foot radius, 40-foot sphere covering the dragon. Eidolon, make me a deck save.
Ay.
Bartak fails, dragon fails. Eidolon,
That's a 19.
that's a pass.
If this is for damage, I take none!
You will take none. Bartak and the dragon are not so lucky though.
Eat a fucking dick.
12, 15, 18. How injured would you say you're looking, Eidolon?
On a scale of about, 0 to 101, I'm feeling about 38.
So, not looking great then.
Been better, surprisingly.
You are still within range of her. So, Craig, you regain 70 hit points.
70?
70 hit points.
Well, fuck, I'm back on 101.
As
What was that?
a sound can now be heard amongst the combat in camp, where it seems like Shotha is chanting, at least to some degree, where she casts Heal.
Yo! Fuck yes!
However, as
Shotha's a nice one.
Shotha is the nice one, yeah. Dalarash is nice but tentative, as this will essentially be a two-parter in combat, as, believe it or not, you've not met the boss yet.
Right.
Unmute, excuse me?
As, coming to the end of tonight, going through these rounds of combat, for my boys, you hear another roar.
Oh no.
As
there's another one.
another Northul appears, though this time with company. As, upon its back, taking the position in camp, at least from what you can see from the distance, though very unclear through trees and tents, appears to be an iron dragon. I also get to put a lot more dots on the map, as you guys obviously left things alive. As everything you were fighting in the ritual grounds and the hunting grounds has now come into the encampment.
Swell.
As for tonight, we are at the end of this two-part combat, where you are in the second wave.
Oh no.
It's a full-scale battle. You have to defend Maiar.
It was only just the beginning.
As
We get to know who's arrived, or would that only be Wolfric?
Stay tuned for next week to find out.
You gotta find out next week.
On Twisted Fate.
As for now, it is
Credit music.
goodbye from me, and it is goodbye from my boys. Until next week.